to the Conscious Hers. I'm Sabine. So this is part 4 of the Rewilding, and today I want to talking about the beautiful wild cat Lynx. It's grown so rare in Europe. They are getting repopulated now. But yeah, the lynx was extinct, literally, and it's just a beautiful cat, and was in parts of Germany it was the biggest wild cat available, and very cute with these tuffles on their ears, these like almost like brush. Very beautiful little things, not so little though. Predator obviously, and they became extinct quite a long time ago, to be fair, and there was quite a lot of problems about this reintroducing them because of the farmers, for example, and what are they called now, these rangers in the forest taking care of deer population and the likes, and so there was quite a lot of opposition against this. Now, when you look at the earliest reintroduction of the lynx, that is about the mid-1970s, early 1980s in Germany, where the first ones started to being reintroduced into the wild, and with a little bit of help through government then, farmers and forestry, there were certain schemes where they made some kind of deals, corporate deals, I think you would call it, and they accepted that they can be reintroduced as on a trial base, and so they did start to do that. Now, there was plenty of complaints from farmers complaining they would go after their sheep, rangers complaining about the minimizing on the deer population, for example. But now, why would they think that is a problem? Well, that is simple. In being so restricted in the population of deers because of the habitat not big enough, obviously, there was not enough food, or so they thought. On the other hand, it's the same, not the same, but it's also a positive thing. It will keep the deer population or smaller rodent population in check as well, so they don't explode too much. It is like everything else in nature, is a perfect balance, and there's been for hundreds of years there was an imbalance. So with reintroducing the lynx early on in Germany, soon other countries started to follow, and in the 90s more European countries started, and I think it was in 2000, around about 2000, when they started here in England, like Scotland and Wales, to reintroduce the lynx again, and it only shows benefits. Apart from the odd story about that there was a lamb taken or something like that, nothing has been proven on that, to be fair, because you never hear the finish of the story. It's a little bit like when you hear about a dog attack on a person. You always hear the side of the stories of the person, but never actually the reason for the attack, do you? You never hear why this happened. You only hear about the injuries and the likes. So yes, it's quite a popularization, I would say, or publication to sensationalize stuff, to sell copies or views on the story itself, and that is similar to when it comes to rewilding native animals who belong actually in nature. So again, I said it in one of the earlier videos, who the heck do we think we are as human beings to decide who has the right to live on this planet or in the natural habitat and who don't? So yeah, the lynx is finally being reintroduced properly, and it already shows benefits. It keeps the deer population in order and in check. So also the massive damage that deer can do to cornfields, for example, and the likes, also being kept in check. The problems with like small rodents, like rats population being kept in check, and there is lots and lots of benefits to rewilding lynx. And it's not only lynx. I mean, I did cover now about the beavers, the horses, and the bison. There's quite a few more species who are being reintroduced into nature, and I just like to hear these success stories that the conscious thinking of human being is turning slowly but surely towards getting a balance back into the whole ecosystem on this planet, because that's exactly what it is about. It is about a balance of the ecosystem and not just being or monopolizing the space we're living in, because everything else has a right to live here as well, as much as we do. So why not live in cohabitation with these animals? You hardly ever hear stories. I've never heard of one. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I am. I never heard of a lynx, for example, attacking a human being. They're far too shy to do that. They keep themselves to themselves. Whoever has a cat at home, for example, is not completely similar, but a cat has his own mind. They're very independent, so they don't need us. We need them. That's the other way around. So it's really, really, really nice to see that these kind of good stories sadly are not being broadcast in the media. Well, hey ho, they don't sell money with it, do they? So I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic, I shouldn't. But I want to bring this on my little platform here, to bring that out into the population of human beings, to showing that there are more good stories and positive stories than there are actually negative stories. It is really sensationalizing things. What they can sell is negativity. That's why you hardly ever hear anything about these positive stories or the impact of it. And kudos to all these human beings who are determined and so open-minded and fair to reintroduce these animals back into the wild, because we do need them. Our woodlands, for example, got so singular in itself, with plants version, for example, because we human being killed off quite a lot of animals to belong there. And now with reintroducing the lynx, for example, all this starts to slowly but surely, it comes back into a balance or more balanced place. And with that, we got more varieties of plants who was thought being extinct. Trees are getting more widespread as well, as well as the bisons and the horses they have the seeds on their coats, so they travel quite fast distances and they spread the seeds about and new flora comes up. It just is Our nature is such a beautiful, balanced ecosystem in itself. If just more of us would open their eyes to it and being more open-minded and fair. So yeah, I got a bit off the track here, but I think it's important to talk about these kind of things. So yeah, so the Lynx are being back and being successfully now reinstalled or reintroduced into wild all across Europe, and I believe also America and so on, and that is fantastic news. It makes my heart open with love to those who have worked behind the scenes for decades, and the zoos with their breeding programs, and all of this is so important. It saves a lot of money for us in the long run as well. As I mentioned with the beavers, for example, reduces the flash flooding. So lesser houses get flooded, lesser properties getting destroyed, so it costs less money. You don't have to, especially for those villages or cities who are along a river and get almost yearly damages to their properties. So yeah, there is a lot of positive stuff about this, and I hope you enjoy this. I'm looking forward to more. I got quite a few more of these to come. So have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.